Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's a Shoot. This is my weekly episodic show where I talk about the good and bad world of professional wrestling. It's called Put Over and Bury, and I usually have a main topic. However, we're on a stretch where that is not happening. Last week we did not do Put Over and Bury, we just had a main topic. And this week, this is the weekend of Takeover and Summerslam. We're doing the prediction show. So once again, no Put Over and Bury. And next week there will be no Put Over and Bury, as we will be doing the predictions to Payback happen. I have no idea why they've decided to put a pay-per-view 1 week after, especially 1 week after a major pay-per-view, but who knows why. It's the WWE. That being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our predictions for Nxt Takeover 30 and SummerSlam 2020. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So let's start with NXT. The kickoff show, triple threat tag match to determine the number one contender to Imperium's tag team titles. Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. This is a tough one for me. They've been doing a lot of heel stuff lately because of the pandemic, and it's a lot easier to do heel stuff now than it would be in a normal setting when they're actually real fans and who you're gonna root for, who you're gonna choose for, yada yada yada. A lot easier to do it this time, so that makes me think that Legado del Fantasma could actually win it. Breezango's already had their chance. And then there's Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. They are hard-hitting guys, and they work out. They do their stuff in the ring. I'm going to go with Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. I think they'll win. They'll become the number one contenders to face Imperium later on down the line. On to the main show. First match: Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher cost Finn Balor a shot at being in the North American title ladder match this past Wednesday. They beat Timothy Thatcher the other week going against Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis made him pass out. Would they beat him again? See, I don't know, but see, Finn Balor he's been on the road since for the most part since he's come down there. I think he's only lost twice really. So, and that's actually been like the last two times he's actually been in the ring. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the Prince, Finn Balor, beating Timothy Thatcher. Special attraction match: Adam Cole is gonna take on Pat McAfee. This one might be one of the ones that is this. It's probably going to be 10 minutes of just high impact action because, and who knows, there's some stuff that Pat McAfee actually got in the ring. He was trained by Rip Rogers, one of the guys who was one of the main trainers down at OVW. So you never know what Pat could do. Pat could end up maybe being like Ronda Rousey. He could end up being a fantastic worker in his first match. So who knows? I don't think Pat McAfee is going to win, though. They made Pat McAfee the heel. There's one thing when you're Lawrence Taylor and you're the baby face. Of course you're gonna win. And you're the main event of WrestleMania. But this is Takeover. This is not the main event. I would say Adam Cole wins. Adam Cole beats Pat McAfee. The NXT Women's title features Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai. This past Wednesday, Dakota Kai got her muscle back. And Raquel Gonzalez, she's been off TV for a little while. Coincidentally, around the same time that there was that big outbreak of COVID in the WWE. So obviously, just the same coincidence. But she is back, and she's back to help Dakota Kai beat Io Shirai. Now, Io Shirai has held the title for a few months. Only having 2 title defenses. She really hasn't been on TV very much. Only in video form, not necessarily in the ring. So I don't think they're going to We'll talk about that later. But I kind of think that this really is just, they gave Dakota Kai. I would be shocked if they should take the title off of Io Shirai and put it on Dakota Kai, even though she's done great work as of late. I think it's probably too early for that. Um, so I'm going to say Io Shirai retains the women's title. The North American title is on the line in the ladder match. Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and the Velveteen Dream. This is obviously going to be probably the spot fest. The spot fest is this is going to be one of those crazy matches we see. And the thing about it is that I can see all five guys coming out with the North American Championship. I really could. But you got to think about who are they focusing on, who are they looking to do, and who are they looking to elevate. And I got a feeling that, and I'm only feeling this, I got a feeling that with what's going to happen in the NXT title match, I think what's next is, coming for, is going to is going to do what happens here in this match. And what I mean by this is not speaking correctly. Yeah. I think even though any one of these five guys could win, I'm going to say that Bronson Reed, who stood tall, at the end. Because I'm thinking that it's probably between Bronson Reed and Damian Priest. But I'm going to say Bronson Reed. I'm going to choose Bronson Reed stands to become the North American title, North American champion. And the reason why I say this is because of the next match. The NXT title is on the line as Keith Lee takes on Karrion Kross. Now I know Keith Lee just won the North America. He retained it, but he actually just won the NXT World Title. So why would you take it off from him? But let's see. I think again, this is one of these things where it was like what they did with the Fiend. They put the Fiend in too quickly, and I think maybe that's what they could. Maybe that's what they've done with Karrion Kross. They put Karrion Kross in the title picture too quickly. So to me, it's I've seen a lot of people say, well, they could do something. They could do a non-finish. They could do something where it's a double count out or a double disqualification, right? Something like that. They could do something where it's something where Karrion Kross would win, but he would not get the title. Because maybe Keith Lee would get disqualified or something like that. And then they would stretch it out to somewhere down the line where once again they would do a match between Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, and then Karrion Kross would win. Having said that, I also think that Keith Lee is made for the main roster. He is someone that I think Vince McMahon would love to have a product like this, especially on Raw, on SmackDown, and with so many guys out because of COVID and because of other things. I'm sure they would love to have Keith Lee on one of these shows. So for me, I kind of think that they're going to. I do think that we're going to choose Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross will win. He will become the new NXT Championship, and Keith Lee will move up to the big roster, to the main roster. And this is what I also said, when I mentioned about the North American title match. One reason why I chose Bronson Reed, because I think maybe what they might want to do is they might want to go, they might want to go one more time with Keith Lee, but then afterwards I think they're gonna push Damian Priest into that spot as the number one babyface on the roster. And I think at some point down the line in the next 4 or 5 weeks you'll see maybe Damian Priest Karrion Kross matchup, which I think could be very, very interesting. It'd be exciting to watch. So right now the WWE they're gonna want people on the main roster, so I kind of think that Keith Lee's gonna go up there. So I'm choosing Karrion Kross to win the NXT Championship. And now here is WWE SummerSlam. At the time of this recording, there are 8 matches on the card. I'm sure um, I'm recording this Friday afternoon, so I'm sure maybe early Sunday early Sunday morning, or even maybe Saturday, there will be an announcement of some kickoff shows, some kickoff show matches. But right now we're just doing the 8 things on the card. So and we're gonna stick with those 8, even though they will be, even though the kickoff show things will be announced. We won't count those going forward or for the record. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's do SummerSlam 2020. You'll never see it coming. The tagline as it speaks out. United States Championship match. Apollo Crews versus MVP of the Hurt Business. Um, there's a part of me that says that we could see a Cedric Alexander heel turn, costing Apollo Crews the championship. They keep throwing that thread out, and maybe it's even a red herring, as you know, he keeps like back in '94 with the $1 Million Man. Keep talking about Lex Luger. He kept trying to buy that into Tatanka, but it turned out to be Tatanka, and maybe this is going to be the turncoat isn't going to be Cedric Alexander. Maybe it's Ricochet, or maybe it's Mustafa Ali, or maybe it's even Apollo Crews, in some form or fashion. Maybe, who knows? But I don't think you put the title on MVP. I really don't. I think you just in MVP to just continue to be part of the Hurt Business and bringing people into the Hurt Business. So my winner is going to be Apollo Crews, who will retain the United States Championship. For the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Street Profits take on Andrade and Angel Garza. Storyline here is apparently Zelina Vega poisoned Montez Ford a couple of weeks ago to try to weaken the Street Profits and give the Andrade and Angel Garza the advantage. But I think I think they've probably done too much. I don't know. I think the storyline of them not working, Andrade and Angel Garza not working together would have been a lot better way to continue that instead of going down this road of being Taz being poisoned. But then with that being but we did see the best thing to confirm this is that we saw Jimmy Burnett from The Bachelor be on Raw the last 3 weeks, so thumbs up for that. That being said, I think the Street Profits win here. Even though I would love to see Andrade and Angel Garza with the Tag Team Championship, I kind of think this the way this story has went, it's probably only right to see. It would have been better. I thought it was Retribution. I thought Retribution would have been the people that poisoned Taz, and then that would have caused Taz to not be great for SummerSlam, and then Angel Garza and Andrade would have taken over. If it was that, I would have chosen Andrade and Angel Garza. But since they've decided to go down and beat Zelina Vega, to me this is the Street Profits victory all the way. So I think the Street Profits retains the Raw Tag Team Championship. Dominic Mysterio first match as a WWE superstar takes on Seth Rollins in a street fight. Now we've got Pat McAfee making his first match on NXT, and now we've got Dominic Mysterio with his first match against Seth Rollins. Obviously they made this a street fight because this is Dominic's first bout in the ring, more than likely. I'm not sure necessarily where they are going to go with Dominic Mysterio. I guess they could keep him on the main roster. One of my thoughts would be is that he would maybe go down to NXT and work there, while his father stays on the main roster. And then and then maybe even Ray comes to NXT and works with Dominic. So who knows? Maybe Dominic just stays on the main roster just because, like that, and listen, what can you say about it? So, um, Ray has signed a new contract, so he's with the V for a little bit longer. That is good. So yeah, he's a new superstar. That being said, as for this match, this is a tough one because you think maybe you'd want to give you'd want to give the kid a victory, but you made it a street fight, right? You made it a street. If it was just a wrestling match, you could maybe see where maybe the kid could get a fluke victory over Seth Rollins with a roll up, or a small package or something, and he would get the win that way. But this is a street fight, and I think Murphy's going to be out there. He's going to get involved, and I think Raven's going to be involved, and Austin Theory, who I thought was who a lot of people thought was off screen because of the COVID coincidence. We just say it like that. But actually, he may have he may have got some type of other suspension. So there's possibly a way that you can see Austin Theory make his return from suspension in this match, against for Seth Rollins against Dominic Mysterio. So yeah, I really think I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins here. I think I know you don't you kind of want to give a first guy, but his first win, they talked about The Rock. They gave The Rock the victory. He was the sole survivor in Survivor Series '96. And his bloodline of Rocky Johnson and Peter Maivia. But I kind of think this was different. Again, if this was Ray and Dominic versus Seth and Buddy Murphy, I would maybe seeing Dominic rolling up Buddy Murphy for the win. He getting his first win. Or and again, if this was just a regular match, I still would see Dominic rolling up Seth getting his first win. But I think with this street fight stipulation added, I kind of think they're gonna go the route of Seth Rollins. So I think Seth Rollins is going to be he's going to be the victor in this match. In a hair versus hair match, Sonya Deville takes on Mandy Rose. These two have been feuding ever since WrestleMania, and now we have a hair versus hair match between Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And for me, I think this is simple. I think this is Sonya Deville. Normally, baby faces always win. Baby faces always win. There's been like 2 times that I can remember that babyface hasn't won in hair versus hair match. That was Chavo Guerrero against his uncle Eddie in WCW, Best of the Beach, '98. And then there was also Kevin Nash had a hair versus hair match against Chris Jericho. And Kevin Nash, it was for a movie. So unless Mandy Rose has a movie coming up, I think this match is going her way. I think Sonya Deville is going to get her hair cut. So I'm picking Mandy Rose. Now, as I say that, I also must say that I'm very happy. The news broke this week of a man who was caught outside of Sonya Deville's house who was trying to kidnap Sonya Deville. And he had like duct tape and scissors and other type of things that he was going to duct tape her and ask some questions apparently, and it was just there's some horrifying stuff that he was allegedly doing. He had been sending notes and messages for months, and it was just devastating. And Mandy Rose allegedly, from what the police told me, that Mandy Rose was there with Sonya Deville sleeping in their house. Obviously, we live in a world where kayfabe is no more. Kayfabe is no more. So even though they have this blood feud, they're staying in the same house together. And that also could be because of COVID and things like that. So maybe if there wasn't COVID around, maybe yes, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville would be in maybe a different house or another apartment or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, it's an Indian house, and they But I'm not gonna say unfortunately. Fortunately, nothing happened to either one of them, and they're both safe and sounds are shaken up, but they're good, and they have a match, and they have to get through all of that and work the match this past Sunday. I would not be surprised if this match is taken off until next Friday. We'll see about tonight during the live SmackDown. See if they do anything tonight or anything like that. They may mention it, so um, they may push it back to Payback. Because of the stuff that went down with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. But for right now, I'm choosing the winner. And it's going to be Mandy Rose. The Raw Women's Championship is on the line as Sasha Banks takes on Asuka. Asuka will also be taking on Bayley in the SmackDown Women's Championship. We'll get to that in a second. But we're talking about Asuka, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has this thing where she does not do well in her title defenses. She gets a title and then she loses it right away. It's not been like that since she's won the the women's championships, but it has been like that for her singles titles, and I think nothing changes the same. I think Asuka wins the Raw Women's Championship. I think she's going to have a terrific battle with Shayna Baszler. So I would expect Asuka to beat Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. And now it's Bayley versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was a three-branded battle royal that Asuka won to face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And to be honest with you, I think Asuka's going to win this one as well. I think what will happen in these two matches with Bayley and Sasha Banks is that each one will accidentally what will either happen is that each one will cost each other accidentally the match, giving the match to Asuka, and Asuka will be Asuka 2 belts, or depending on who goes first. What happens first? They talked about it that Bayley might actually go first on the show. So if Bayley's been more of the heel, so if Sasha Banks accidentally costs Bayley the SmackDown Women's title later on in the match, you could easily see Bayley on purpose cost Sasha Banks the Raw Women's Championship match, pretend it's an accident, and then of course they're going to defend their women's tag team titles at Payback, and then that's when the whole thing could blow up in their face. So so for me, Asuka wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. She wins the Raw Women's Championship, becomes Asuka 2 belts, and she becomes just one of many women to hold the two titles on this year. Whatever. But my pick is Asuka. The Universal Championship is on the line as Braun Strowman takes on Bray Wyatt. And this is the thing for me, right? This is one of the things why I feel like, right? Because I feel like Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, should not be anywhere near the title picture. Keep the Fiend away. Keep the Fiend just causing mayhem and destruction and fear in people. There's no reason that he needs to be a champion. There's no reason he needs to have the title. There's no reason. And what are we doing? Is we're gonna put the title on Bray Wyatt in hopes that Roman Reigns will come back. So then at WrestleMania you have Roman Reigns beat the Fiend for the championship. It's kind of overdone. To me, there's not a doubt in my mind. The right idea about this is that you put the title on Braun Strowman. You keep the title on Braun Strowman. You do not have the Fiend win the championship. However, with the way they've done this, it's in a 3-match setting, and then they had him beat. County Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, He, I guess, lost to Swamp Bray Wyatt, or maybe he beat the Swamp Bray Wyatt. I have no idea. The fucking match was god awful. Not even a match, really. Another showcase movie type shit, and it's just so I just don't know. And then we gotta go and so now we gotta do this with the Fiend. Bronze and Little Man, as they always say, people who come across the Fiend changes. Whether it was Daniel Bryan, The Miz, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, anybody who comes across the Fiend, their personality changes, and we've seen the personality change from Braun Strowman. My heart wants to say Braun Strowman because I don't think the Fiend should be the champion. The Fiend does not need to be the champion to be to be relevant, to be successful, to be anything like that. He doesn't need a championship, especially the main championship. But my head just says, you would think that that's what they're gonna do. That they took the title off of the Fiend, put on Goldberg, so that Goldberg could wrestle Roman Reigns, but that didn't happen. So, like, what else can they do? And my heart says Braun, my head says Fiend. And I don't know what else to feel. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna I'm gonna go Braun Strowman. Who cares? I was thinking I was gonna go in my, when I said I was gonna do these things, I was gonna go in my head and go with the Fiend. No, I'm going with my heart, Braun Strowman. And finally, the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. He's been a darn good champion, a very well received one, doing everything he can to keep things alive. A lot of people have loved the way he's been booked. Myself, I loved it as well. I didn't like it at first when he was kicking out at one, and a lot of things I didn't like it. I thought that was kind of not good. And then but that hasn't happened as of late, where he's been kicking out of big moves at one count. I think they've got to stop that. That's good. Hopefully they don't do it in this match. And this Randy Orton has been the best heel since he turned on Edge, and he's done great heel work, great promos, just great stuff in general. And he's been motivated to do this, and I think he loves it. When he gets his stuff going, he's been fantastic. And for me, I think as much as Drew McIntyre is good, you can always put the title back on him at some point in fashion. Later on, even next year. I did a video, one of my last videos, talking about the next 5 WWE championships. That's he's part of that. He can be somewhere down the line. He can take it away from someone. And even if they don't follow my thing, they can do the thing where maybe he wins it back at Royal Rumble, something like that. Wins it back when fans are there and they can actually celebrate and embrace him like you should. They got the Thunderdome now, so we'll see. Again, we'll see what that's like tonight. But I think Randy Orton right now he's too hot as a heel to keep the title off of him. He really is. He's just way too hot. So for me, I think Randy Orton walks away with the WWE Championship. So again, to reiterate, Saturday, Nxt Takeover 30. The winners: Only Lorcan and Danny Burch on the kickoff show. Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Ariel Shirai, Bronson Reed, and Karrion Kross. And for SummerSlam, Sunday, the winners: Apollo Crews, Street Profits, Seth Rollins, Mandy Rose, Asuka in both of her matches, Braun Strowman, and Randy Orton. Now, my record on the year is 49-18. Very good record. Very great record. And I started off really hot. I kind of had a one there where Nxt Takeover in your house, I did bad, and Extreme Rules was just all types of crazy. But for the most part, I've done very, very well in these predictions, and I hope to continue to do well. So we'll see. Also, make sure Saturday after Nxt Takeover 30 and Sunday after SummerSlam 2020, make sure you are right here. There will be a rapid reaction to both the Nxt Takeover 30 and SummerSlam 2020 events. We will go over what we saw. We will talk. I will give my resume, and we'll just talk about the event that was Nxt Takeover 30 and SummerSlam 2020. Make sure you click the notification bell so that when I do go live, you can come right in and join in front. Okay? Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know your predictions for Nxt Takeover 30 and SummerSlam 2020. You'll never see it coming. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRip to become a patron. 3 tiers. When I hit a certain amount of patrons, I will open it up to let you know to what kind of videos you want to see me do here on YouTube, what you want to see me talk, what you want to see me play on Twitch, and what do you want to hear me talk about on my podcast. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.